show of hands if you're married in the audience. Show of hands. Oof. Okay, very few.
Stupid.
Okay. we got cameras on the audience.
That's not
show of hands if you're currently in a relationship. Okay.
Stupid.
So half the audience. Show of hands if you're single. Okay. Oh. Now, for all the single dudes out there, raise your hand if you want a girlfriend or a wife or a girl in your life. Show of hands. Okay, so the most of you want a girl in your life. Show of hands if you want to do the Myron approach and have multiple wives. Okay. Now,
most men can't do that.
Okay.
But they want
How
that.
realistic is it for these guys to actually have multiple wives?
I mean, to have multiple girls is very difficult. But again, if you're on your purpose and you got your shit together and you're that guy, women will share you. And they won't feel like they're being entrapped or they're being held or whatever, because they know, okay, if I'm not, and here's the other reason too why having multiple women is so important. People only behave, right? Okay, so respect, and necessary ingredient for respect is fear. So for respect to exist, fear must come first. And women have to fear, not you physically, but fear you leaving her. Yeah, and that fear is stimulated by other women being around that could take her place at any time. If you look at someone like a Dan Bilzerian, you look at a playboy like Hugh Hefner, you look at the Tate brothers, right? They have a bunch of women around. And unfortunately for women, and this is one of the unflattering things about female nature, women operate the best when they know that they can be replaced, and women are super attracted to pre-selection. This isn't even my opinion. This is a biological fact. They've done this with chimpanzees, which are the closest to human beings. When they had one male chimp and no bitches, he got no bitches. When he had two female chimps with him, the other female chimps came to him. So women would prefer to share a higher status man, primate, whatever you want to call it, than have a loser all to herself. Most girls will say, I'd rather be single than settle down with a regular guy. And I would argue that social media, dating apps, etc., has heightened this to another degree. But go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything.
No, because I know you're trying to say something
multiple
before.
Wives. That sounds great.
No, but there's a purpose for it, like being able to have multiple women. Because
I mean, I don't think there's any stats out there that's saying that the open relationship one-sided and the marriages are the ones that last the longest. I don't think that's. I don't think that's true.
But there is a multitude of data that demonstrates that women are hardwired to be attracted to men that are pre-selected.
I think women are attracted to people that are passionate.
No, you are, sweetie. That's for you.
Okay.
And I think it's important.
Let's go with that. Yeah, they're attracted to men that are passionate, but you're missing.
You agree with that?
Yeah. But see, again, women end at 10. They don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. That guy can be passionate, fantastic, if he's tall, if he's charming, if he has the money together, he's in shape, he's good looking, he has a nice smile, he's funny, her mom likes him. Like, all these things need to be checked, and women always forget like how many check boxes they really have. You don't give a shit about his passion or his personality or his charm unless he meets certain prerequisites first.
That's correct.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, the way that you're painting this picture about him, of that he's holding a gun to these girls' head and forcing them to do this, that they don't want to do it. I mean, I think you really have to understand the reality is, if they didn't want to be there, they wouldn't.
That's not really how it works. Like, you can manipulate and say things to make people feel like they want to stay. Have you ever heard of cycle of abuse? Have you ever heard of cycle of abuse?
I mean,
let her finish her point. Go ahead.
Listening to you talk thus far, I think you're delusional, but I mean,
tell me why.
Why?
She's going to.
You're telling him how his girlfriends think. When, if you don't know them and you don't know the relationship, I mean, weren't you just annoyed that they were trying to tell you about your relationship? Weren't you arguing with him?
Well, I'm not telling you. I'm asking him questions so I can understand what he's saying. That's what it is.
And he's speaking. I'm not arguing against you. And then you keep countering back.
Well, I don't think that the things that he's saying applies to everyone. I don't think it does. And I don't think you can say that either.
Maybe it doesn't apply to you, but it works for him, and it works for his girlfriend.
Yeah, he does whatever he wants. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about, like, generalizing everyone this way is not. It's not reality.
But it is for a lot of people.
There are some, but it's not like the best advice that you can give out there. There are other advice. Like, if he says, like, humor, charming, those sort of things, I do agree with
Melina, you got to understand that the world operates.
Thank you.
Pressing it back.
Go ahead, Myron.
No, you couldn't.
So let me just, because a lot of women have a point of contention with the way that I do things, and you got to understand, like, my dating practices and how I move with women, there's typically like some type of logical or statistical reason why I do what I do. And the reason why I have multiple women is because it's a fact that women are attracted to pre-selection, and it just works that way. You know what I mean? And there's a bunch of other benefits as well, but it keeps the women aroused, which I think is a very important component.
Explain pre-selection.
I think it can work for some people, but I don't think it works for normal people.
I mean, if you have to be able to support all those women. I mean,
I
he can have 4 wives
I don't
because he
think
can
that many
support
people
4.
are getting wet by the idea of their man cheating on them. I don't think so. I think most
But
of them are going
it doesn't
to leave.
refute the fact that women
Well, your
still
man cheats on you. What are you talking about?
men that are
I don't think most women. Yeah, but I'm a special one. I get turned on. I am actually a cuck, so I do get turned on by this.
Okay.
But I know that most people
Gotcha.
don't. So I'm speaking for those people.
By the way, speaking of